Just minutes after takeoff, something went terribly wrong. Both engines failed. Not one. Both. The aircraft was suddenly gliding through the sky, with no power. Below them was New York City. Millions of people. Buildings stretching for miles. There was no runway ahead. No clear place to land. Only seconds to decide. And whatever decision the pilot made, would determine the fate of 155 people on board. On January 15, 2009, an Airbus A320 operated by US Airways prepared for a routine flight. It departed from New York, heading to Charlotte, North Carolina. The weather was cold but clear, nothing unusual. Passengers were settling into their seats. Some were checking their phones. Others were preparing for a short flight. In the cockpit, everything was normal. The aircraft took off smoothly. The engines were performing perfectly. The climb was stable. From the outside, it looked like just another flight. But in less than 3 minutes, everything would change. As the aircraft climbed to around 3,000 feet, it flew directly into a flock of birds. Large birds. Canada geese. There was no time to avoid them. Within seconds, multiple birds were sucked into both engines. Passengers heard loud explosions. Some saw flames outside the windows. And then, something unusual happened. The engines went quiet. Too quiet. Both engines had lost power. At the same time. Inside the cockpit, the pilots immediately recognized the situation. This was not a minor failure. This was something extremely rare. A complete loss of thrust. The aircraft was no longer being powered forward. It was now gliding. Like a giant piece of metal, slowly losing altitude. Air traffic control quickly responded. They suggested returning to the airport. But the pilots were already calculating altitude, speed, distance. They knew something critical. They could not make it back. In aviation, situations like this leave almost no time. Every second matters. The captain had to decide immediately. Try to return, and risk crashing into buildings. Or find another way. Then he saw it. A narrow path through the city. The Hudson River. It was not a runway. It was not designed for aircraft. But it was long. Flat. And free of obstacles. It was their only chance. The aircraft began descending toward the river. Passengers started to realize something was wrong. The plane was flying unusually low, very low. Outside the windows, the city rushed by. Buildings, bridges, boats, inside the cabin, tension grew. But there was no panic. No clear announcement. Just a silent understanding, something serious was happening. The aircraft lined up with the river. The pilots carefully controlled the descent. Too steep, and the plane would break apart. Too fast, and it would flip. Everything had to be perfect. Then, the aircraft touched the water. A powerful impact. A massive splash. The cabin shook violently. But the aircraft did not break apart. It stayed intact. Within seconds, evacuation began. Passengers moved quickly. Some climbed onto the wings. Others waited inside as water slowly entered the aircraft. The temperature outside was freezing. Time was critical. Then help arrived. Ferries. Rescue boats. Emergency teams. People were pulled from the aircraft, one by one. All 155 people survived. The successful landing of US Airways Flight 1549 Hudson River Landing became known as the "Miracle on the Hudson." But it wasn't just luck. It was preparation, training, experience, and a decision made under extreme pressure. A powerless aircraft, falling over one of the busiest cities in the world, found a way to land. And everyone survived.